This is the 2016-17 assessment training video. Anyone who helps with state assessments has to watch this video and be trained in the ethics of state assessments. I am going to go through this video straight through. I hope that it turns out and I don't mess up too many times, but it's easier just to go through. In the video, I'm going to show you the assessment resources. I'm going to show you an overview of the assessments. I'm going to show you the accommodations form and where to find the accommodations manual. I'm going to go through different ethics types of things for the training. I'm going to show you the appropriate testing practices fact sheet, show you where to find the quiz that you'll need to take, and show you the agreement that you will sign that says that you went through this training. There are some assessment resources that you might want to take note of. I have created again and updated the state assessments website that I created, and I tried to keep all the important stuff that you will need in that spot. But in case you ever need more information, you can go to the KSDE website to the assessments page, or you can also, if you need more information on KITE or the things that go along with KITE, you'll go to www.ksassessments.org. The first one, the actual KSDE site, if you're on the main page, you'll click on A for assessments, and then these are some of the important documents. These all have to do with just in general the tests, and these have to do with accommodations, and we'll go through those a little bit later. The other one is the KansasAssessments.org. It's got information on KITE, like the manuals and things that you need to know for KITE in particular. This is an assessment overview. It tells up at the top the different subject areas that are tested, and on the left are some various categories. It's a lot smaller this year than it has been in the past. The testing footprint has been reduced greatly. This year, only in math and ELA, only 3rd through 8th and 10th grade will test. Science is for 5th, 8th, and 11th grade, and there is no history or government assessment this year. There is no math performance, and there's no MDPT. So those are all exciting things that are making this test a lot shorter. We do not have any DLMs, so this column does not apply to us, and we do not do the CPAS, so this column does not apply to us. We do KELPA testing, which used to be called KELPA, now it's called KELPA. There's some information on that listed, but as far as the rest of them, everything will be given through the KITE program, including the KELPA test this year. Last year it was not given through KITE, but it will be this year. The test format is very similar to last year. There will be technology enhanced items where students will drag and drop things and mark their correct answer on there. The things are the same as last year. The test parts are greatly shortened this year. There are only 2 sessions for each one of these items. And the first one is session 1, which will be an adaptive test, which means that, actually that's not adaptive. Everyone will take session 1, and then it will adapt session 2 based on how the students did in session 1. So everyone takes the same test for session 1, and then 2 adapts to how they did. The testing dates, the window is smaller this year, but that's okay because there's not as many tests given. It's March 14th to April 28th for ELA, math, and science. And then for KELPA, it's actually before the regular summative assessment. So KELPA will be February 1st through March 10th. If students enter the district after March 14th of 2017, they do not need to be tested. So that's something important to know. If you get a kid come in very late like that, they will not have to test. Accommodations, the way that we do accommodations here is by filling out a form, And the only people who need to fill out an accommodations form will be Kelly, Brenda, Rachel, or Marna. Those people will fill out the accommodations form for their students, and I will print those and make copies for everyone so everyone can see those accommodations and sign them so that they know that they exist. On the KSDE assessment website, there is an accommodations manual, and that is down here under accommodations. The accommodations manual is something I think everyone should go through just so that they have an idea of what kinds of things are allowed for accommodations. And I'm not going to go through that whole book, but this is what it looks like, and it is available now. They do modify it occasionally, so you might double check to make sure that you have the most recent information, but that's where you will find that manual. And then there's also a link to an accommodations form. I want to show you what the accommodations form looks like. Even though you're not going to be the one to fill it out, I will still show you what it looks like. It's exactly the same as last year, other than modified so that it doesn't have social studies in it this year. You'll go through and fill out the student's information, their name, their grade level, the building, and the classroom teacher. Some of these I have pre-populated to have no already marked so that you don't have to go through and mark each one if it's a common thing that's usually marked. But don't forget to go in and mark the things that you do need to mark. I guess I need to fill this in order to go on. I'll put my name in there. Grade level, building name, classroom teacher. Then you'll go to the next page. The next page is for ELA, and these are the accommodations that are most commonly used. The ELA cover overlay, it makes a background behind the screen. It changes that color so that it's kind of a different color. And then the reverse contrast changes the test so that it has black with white lettering. The ELA masking provides a black rectangular box that can be resized so you can cover up parts of the passage that you don't want to be distracted by. The color contrast changes the background and the text to kind of 4 different schematic presets. The Braille we do not use. The translation dictionary is not available to everyone. That is for ELL only. There is a function here for ELA auditory calming, meaning it plays music in the background so that if students find that more calming while they're taking their test. The text-to-speech audio, this will not be available. We don't have any students that are severe enough of a disability. There are places in a test that do have audio, so for every student, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. The quiet separate location is here. Frequent breaks. ELA students read aloud. They must read out loud to themselves. A scribe, we don't have any students, I don't believe, that fall under that. And this ELA option 2 is the general assessment. All students who have an accommodation will have this marked as yes. And the DLM alternate, these will all be no. On the next screen, these are the same exact things that we did for ELA, but these are for math. And then these, the third screen is for science. And again, the same exact accommodations. Then you'll click submit. That will send me a copy of that form, and then I will print them and get them back to you. As far as the ethics and security goes, if you have to use the Kite Educator portal for any reason, please keep in mind that you're not supposed to pass out or share your username and password. When you log in, it brings up this box, and that is what you're agreeing to when you do that. Keep your own information. If you know of someone who needs to have access, then I can create an account for them. I will begin sending out daily access codes again this year. Each student has their own username and password for the whole testing season, but I will email you a daily access code by the end of school each day. That access code will be in a Microsoft Word password protected document that I will email out to anyone who needs it for the next day, and then you will use that access code for students to test on that given day. Even if they're making up an assessment, they'll use the access code for whatever is valid for that day. When you have an item that you think might be incorrect or just doesn't look right to you, please make sure you don't take a picture of that item and email it to me or anything like that. You cannot take pictures and send information about specific items. If you email me information, like if you think that there is a problem that is not correct, that there's maybe no actual answers that are correct, then just email me the specifics and I'll get that information to Kite. If for some reason a student's username and password is not working and they need to be reactivated, either contact your building principal, who will then get in touch with me, or email me directly and I will get them reactivated. That is something that must be documented, the time and date that they are reactivated. So it's important that only one person in the district does that, and that is me. I'm the one that does that. So please just get that information to me and I will get them reactivated. During the assessment, as a proctor or a monitor, make sure that you are walking around the room, making sure that students are on task. All of your chalkboards and whiteboards have to be clean and can't have any information on them that might help students in the assessment that they're taking. The test proctor cannot do or say anything to help a student know whether they are getting the right answer on that question, and they cannot ask a student how they got that answer. During the assessment, the proctor cannot tell the students to redo an item or redo a section, but what you should do is go to the review end screen with them. When they get done with that, they should show you that so that you can make sure that all of the green check marks are there for every question. And if there are any items that have not been complete and don't have a green check mark, then you can tell your students to go back and answer those questions, but you cannot go back with them and review those questions. The last thing that I want to show you is the Ethics and Security Training Appropriate Testing Practice Fact Sheet. There are a few more things on here that I want you to make sure you look at before you do your assessment. It's on page 2. There are acceptable practices and unacceptable practices. Maybe read those over again just to make sure that you know that you've gotten all those covered and that you know what those are. The last things you need to do are take the assessment training quiz. That's also going to be on the website, where the same link where you found this PowerPoint and video is. You need to sign the agreement to abide by guidelines, and then if you would turn that in to me, it has to be done before you start taking assessments. I think that is it. If there is any other questions, then go ahead and email me, and I will keep that website up to date and email you out as I find things that I think you need to know. Thank you.